Welcome, guys. I hope you're okay. Today, I will tell you an exciting story that happened in 1974 in Enfield, Illinois. At the time, many residents of the city claimed to have witnessed a mysterious and unknown creature. This object is one of the strangest phenomena recorded in the history of hidden zoology. You have gathered all the exciting facts that have happened between the inhabitants of the city and this terrifying creature. I will share it with you and leave you free to rule. Is this being real or just fiction? Let's dive into the details of this mysterious story. Let's get started. On a cold night on April 25, 1973, Greg Garrett's baby was enjoying playing in the backyard of the house. But suddenly, he saw something strange approaching him. Greg described the object as being abnormal, not less than 3 legs, gray and sticky skin, short claws and scary red eyes. The little boy watched this strange object tread his 3 limbs on his feet, ripping his tennis shoes into pieces. Greg only had to run away quickly from this evil creature and return safely to his parents' house. While the baby was crying hysterically, only half an hour after the first meeting, when Garrett's neighbor, Henry McDaniel, and his family met face to face with this incredible monster. At around 9:30 p.m., the McDaniels returned home to find their children Henry Jr. and Lil in awful shock. 2 children claimed that something tried to break into the house through the door of the window-mounted air conditioner. At that moment, they all heard a scratch at the front door. A skeptical Henry McDaniel thought this was a stray animal. He bravely approached the door and opened it hard to confront the same strange red-eyed creature who terrified his children and attacked the child Garrett less than an hour earlier. Closed the door, stumbled to a nearby closet, retrieved a flashlight and a .22 caliber pistol. As his horrified family waited anxiously, McDaniel gathered his forces and opened the door again, determined to defend his family and his home. This time, the first sighting was not just hallucinations. The brutal entity stood before him, its strange features etched into his memory. Henry McDaniel shot the terrible object standing on his doorstep. The first bullet hit the beast directly, but instead of falling wounded or dead, the strange object issued a scary hiss like a wild cat. And McDaniel fired 3 more bullets at the beast, but that didn't stop him. Instead, the object broke away from the world at night, covering an area of about 50 feet in a series of 3 jumps in front of his house. Only spectacular. Before disappearing into the shrubs along the railway bridge, McDaniel immediately called the police, prescribed them the creature. He had 3 legs, a short body, and 2 small arms, which emerged from the chest area. His eyes were the size of light bulbs and glowing red. He was about 4.5 feet tall and was gray. He was trying to make his way home, but when Illinois state policemen who responded to the call arrived at the scene, there were only a series of scratches left on the sides of the McDaniel family home and footprints resembling dog footprints in the courtyard. What made these effects unusual was the fact that they had 6 finger pads, most interestingly representing a 3-legged animal, where one footprint was slightly smaller than the others. McDaniel met the object again on May 6th at midnight, when McDaniel heard the dog howl in his neighborhood. He immediately paid attention and took his firearm, and then came out of his house to see what was going on. As he stood in his door, he began to watch something strange on the train tracks near his home. McDaniel noticed a strange shape standing on the railway track. He wasn't in a wheel, he was slowly standing there. McDaniel didn't shoot him. He started watching closely to see what would happen. Unexpectedly, the stranger slowly withdrew towards the train lines. As always with the spectacular events of such an event, it is not long before the press discovers this ambiguity and emerges with all its strength. The county police chief, Conroy Bouchard Jr., was so disturbed by this sudden outpouring of press and curiosity seekers, not to mention the anxiety that began to grip the local population, that he threatened to imprison McDaniel if he did not stop panicking by spreading his very terrifying story. After the story of McDaniel and the mysterious object spread, a wave of amateur monster hunters infiltrated the area around the railways. Driven by curiosity and excitement, they formed armed groups and set out on exploratory patrols across neighboring territories. On one of these excursions, 5 young men who were seen claimed to have matched the description given by McDaniel and Garrett, with a worthwhile note that they described the object as Carrie. The last eyewitness was Rick Rainbow, news director at the local radio station, where he and 3 unnamed others claimed to have seen a mysterious gray object about 5 feet long. According to their testimony, the object was hiding outside an abandoned house near the homes of Garrett and McDaniel. Through this scene, they raised questions about the nature of this strange object, adding further mystery to the strange events surrounding the area. Write to me what you see in the commentary. Do you think this monster is real or a fantasy?